Peace to the ones who still feel. This is for you. Beautiful day outside today. I'll show you for this view real quick. Good spot. I got a question. Have you ever heard of the golden mean? In mathematics, it's known as the irrational number that they call pi. It's basically like perfection. It's unreachable while we're here in the physical world, in this matrix, so to speak. But the beautiful thing is that even though nature can never reach it, it doesn't stop it from trying. And the way that it reaches is through something called the Fibonacci sequence. Have you ever heard of that? The Fibonacci sequence in mathematics is a sequence of numbers where if you just pick a number in the sequence, and divide that number by the one before it, and you do that over and over again and keep going down the line, then what you'll get is a number that's closer and closer to pi. It's closer and closer to perfection. And that's evident in the world all around us. We're spiraling closer and closer. And by we, I mean all of nature. We're spiraling closer and closer to perfection. And this is the secret of nature. This is the secret of creation. The universe unfolds towards harmony, but in its movement, the oscillation, the almost, that's what gives birth to life. That's what gives birth to all of the beauty that we perceive, all of the ugly that we perceive. Because like I say, it's oscillation, ups and downs, spiral. And it's so interesting how in one dimension we perceive peaks and valleys. In another dimension, that same thing that was once perceived as peaks and valleys can be perceived as a spiral going up or a spiral going down. Oscillations. You can see this everywhere. You can see it in plants, you can see it in animals, you can see it in art, architecture, and in you. It's in you too. The profound truth here is that without imperfection, there would be no becoming. Without becoming, there would be no being to witness perfection. Logic says nothing is perfect because all things are finite, transient, and subject to, dissolution into chaos. Spirit whispers back, all is as it should be, therefore all is perfect. The key to balancing these two paradoxes lies in redefining perfection itself, not as flawlessness, but as completion. A storm is perfect at being a storm. A cracked shell is perfect at being a cracked shell. Even decay participates in divine order. So imperfection only exists when we compare a thing to an idealized abstraction of how we think it should be, rather than appreciating it for what it is. But from the view of totality and from the eye of the Most High, there is no deviation, no separation, only expression. So here's what sparked my reflection. Me and my homie, we were talking recently, and he said, is it possible to go a day without sinning? And I'm like, that's a great question. In Greek, the word hamartia means to miss the mark. That's the etymology of the word sin. That's where it comes from. Considering that it means to miss the mark, then, sin isn't evil. Approaching it from that perspective changes so much. Don Miguel Ruiz, the author of the Four Agreements, says that sin is any act of self-betrayal. Anytime you go against your true self, speaking, acting, or even thinking in ways that aren't aligned with your authentic nature, that's what real sin is. And it sounds a lot like missing the mark, if you ask me. So I've come to the conclusion that there are 3 layers to answering this question. First layer is the practical layer of awareness. You can live a day without sin. When you live a day in conscious alignment, when every word, every thought, every act flows from truth instead of fear, judgment, or self-rejection. Now, that does not mean you will be flawless. It means that even when you slip, you see it. And in that seeing, awareness redeems the act. Because the moment you recognize this is not me, like, what am I doing? You stop sinning and start learning. So yes, a day without sin is a day when you don't go against yourself. And yourself includes your fellow man and woman. A day when your energy flows in integrity, not fragmentation, not entertaining separation. And that's pretty hard to do, but it is very practical. It can be done. The second layer is the philosophical layer, deep thinking, the dance with imperfection. If sin means missing the mark, then being human is a constant oscillation between alignment and misalignment. Constant oscillation, peaks and valleys. We are learning beings, spiraling around truth the way that the Fibonacci spirals around pi, around the golden mean. Even when we miss, that very misstep is part of the rhythm. The necessary wobble that allows consciousness to recalibrate. I heard somebody say something the other day. It took me time to realize that step back, or them couple steps back I took, were all part of the dance. They are all necessary for the bigger picture. So a day without sin isn't a day of flawless behavior. It's a day when even your flaws are met with love. It's when the spiral knows it's spiraling. Now the third layer, the more mystical layer, the unity consciousness focused from the highest perspective, what Yeshua, Buddha, and the Toltec masters all pointed towards. There is a state beyond sin, a state where you are so attuned to the truth that you can no longer go against yourself. It's not possible, because there is no self to separate from the source. Therefore, you can't even go against your fellow man and woman. They are not separate from you. But here's the secret. That state isn't something to achieve, just like success is not something to achieve. It's something to remember, and you already are it. You just forget. And it all lies in the journey, just like The Alchemist. If anybody has ever read that book, it's literally all in the journey. And we go on journeys not to find something outside of ourselves, but to remember that what we are looking for was within us the whole time. So the answer here is very contradictory and paradoxical. And as much as it may be difficult to make sense of, contradictions, are abundant in this reality, and we can't really get away from them. But there is a lot of wisdom in them. So yes, you can live a day without sin, because sin is forgetfulness. Sin is missing the mark, and awareness dissolves it. And no, you can't live forever without sin, because imperfection is the teacher. That's the thing that keeps you spiraling towards the truth. It's easy to miss the mark as a domesticated human, conditioned by society, by family, by religion, by schools, to internalize judgment and self-rejection, self-betrayal. You live in sin not because you are bad, but because you believe the lies about who you are, because it was what you were told. To sin is to forget that you are one with the source, not looking for it somewhere else outside of you. And everything that appears separate from you as well. What's interesting is nothing exists outside of you. Everything you're experiencing is a projection from inside. When we sin, we deviate from our inner golden ratio, from balance, from harmonic proportion. But even that deviation creates the contrast that allows awareness to return to the center, right where it's supposed to be at. Sin then is not something to avoid, it's something to transmute. Each time we miss the mark, we refine our aim. Every time a false foundation crumbles, truth is revealed, and we remember more of who we are. To never crumble in the world of sin is to never evolve. Life, therefore, would not be the destination of perfection, but more so the process of it. The crumble is holy. It's the alchemical stage where lead becomes gold, where illusion breaks so consciousness can breathe. The crumble isn't the opposite of impeccability. It's the initiation into it. It's the reason to rise and ascend. If you believe in a creator, an infinite, all-encompassing, omniscient source, then nothing can exist outside his will. It's not possible. To call something imperfect would mean that it stands apart from the Most High, from God. And that's impossible. Everything that exists perfectly within divine unfolding. Imperfection is only the shadow casted by our limited perception. From the infinite viewpoint, all is perfect. From the finite viewpoint, perfection is being reached toward. We are the living Fibonacci sequence. spiraling closer and closer to remembrance. We are divine ratios in motion, imperfectly perfect, forever circling the infinite within. For those that still feel, this is for you. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I love you.